People will make shit up on the internet. They're like, he shouldn't have got this feature because he's like a nepo baby. His mom, blah, 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 blah. I remember reading this.
The amount of blatantly wrong information that people are saying with their whole chest on the internet
crazy
is wild. I mean, I learn something new about myself every day where I'm like, oh, really? I didn't know that.
Monét Talks. Everybody come sit down, let's have a chat. Monét Talks. Living life gossip, chop it up, this or that. Monét Talks. Get comfortable, cause you wanna show. Just wanna know where you been, who you been with. Monét Talks.
You know, I am beyond excited to do this damn episode because we have one of the flyest, sexiest, sultriest motherfuckers in the business, the fabulous Orville Peck.
Hello.
Hi, Orville.
How are you?
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
You know, I'm doing very well. I haven't seen you in a minute.
It's been a minute, yeah.
It's been a minute. And you walked in, I was like, bitch, you look good. The biceps are bicepping. The triceps are trying it.
Yeah.
You look so good.
Thank you. I'm sort of, I've become like a gym person.
Same.
I love it.
Over the past year, like honestly, going and people like it's really. I know to a lot of people working out is a chore and they hate doing it. It literally whatever chemical reaction happens.
No,
in the gym,
it's real.
It feels good. Yeah, and I love working out.
If I'm feeling like and depressed and anxious, I go and even just like run on a treadmill or do something, and it's like you got to do it. You have to do it.
Yeah, it feels so fucking good. I love. How many days a week you going?
I go almost every week, every day.
Yeah,
like, I usually like take Sunday off or something.
I'm like 6 times a week too.
Yeah,
like I'm like committed, bitch.
Oh yeah, like it's just and I think it's just part of my routine now. It's like easy.
And also, I'm like mid-30s. I was like, I don't want to look back when I'm like 40 and be like, damn, bitch, you wasted your 30s. Like I want to be Snatcherella and like that girl in my 30s.
100%.
Although I look back at my 20s when I felt like I was Swamp Thing, you know, and I was like, I was just disgusting. Then I look back, I'm like, actually, I wasn't that bad.
I look back at my 20s and I'm like, I look about 14 years old. Like I'm not kidding. I looked like a child, I think, for like most.
Really?
Kind of.
Oh, wait, were you a Forever Twink or were these fucking Forever Twinks, girl?
Yeah, I was a twaz.
A twaz.
Too old for twink.
They have a few Forever Twinks, like famous Forever Twinks. So I'm like, oh my God, like for example, Timothy Chalamet will look young until like probably 50.
But you know what happens with them is like they look young, and then overnight it's like 90.
They fall off the cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a mess. But Timothy Chalamet is gonna be hot forever.
Yeah.
I feel like he is. I mean, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we can say it.
Okay, so something about you that I had when I first mentioned that, and I think I remember saying this to you, I was like, bitch, you from South fucking Africa? And because I am, okay, for all the South Africans out there, I've had this gig to go to Johannesburg and Cape Town for a very long time. And I keep on having to cancel because like something else happens. And that is so shitty, but I have to go. And I'm very jealous because Trinity has done it, Detox have done it, and they say it is the most beautiful thing they've ever gone to. Like you go on all these safaris and shit. I'm like, I want to go to Johannesburg and Cape Town.
I mean, I'm from there. I'm biased, but even if I wasn't, it is true. I've been so many places, obviously, and like it is the most special place on the planet. It's just undeniable. Like if you step off the plane and you can feel it, it just feels different. Like Africa in general, because I've also been in the most north part of Africa.
Got you.
And it's the same thing. There's just something about that continent. It's just different.
Yeah. And I know that when I go there, it's going to be everything. And I promise I'm going to go. I'm going to go. Also, bitch, it's like what? Fucking 22 hours. I'm like, ooh, bitch, I'm not really.
But you know, there's a direct flight from Atlanta now. It's long, but it's a direct flight.
Ooh, kind of like Sydney to LA to Sydney.
Yeah. It's a long one, but I did it last time I went home and it was great.
I love Australia too. Which I was shocked that I was like, country is also really big in Australia. Like the cowboy thing is in Australia. So in my ignorant American mind, I'm like, country is only an American thing. So when I go to other places like Sydney and this like cowboy culture is so big out there, I'm like, how did the cowboys get to Australia? Because they made their way to South Africa apparently.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, there's definitely South African country music. It's not super popular.
Does it sound like this?
It sounds, I mean, a lot of it is Afrikaans.
Oh, got it.
And it's like sort of, I mean, it's in a little bit of a time warp, kind of. It feels like it's like from the early 90s. I kind of love it, but maybe I love it in sort of a funny way. But it's like, but you know, I can say that like me loving country music, it wasn't necessarily common for people in South Africa.
Got it. Okay. Work.
I was obsessed with cowboys to begin with. Like when I was a little kid, because they were so hot. No, when I was a little kid, all I wanted to be and dress up as all the time was a cowboy.
Really?
Yeah. I actually used it as my single art on a cover I did of Bronski Beat's Small Town Boy like a few years back. But it's a photo of me when I'm 8 years old and I have a cowboy hat on and a handkerchief covering my face. So I've been doing it.
You and I knew to this.
I've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah. Work. Yeah, I guess cowboys have never been a thing because my family's from the West Indies in St. Lucia in the Caribbean, and cowboy, that's not a thing for us. But when I came to America, this still wasn't a thing for me. And I'm trying to dip my toe in more into country music. And I honestly, you are a big reason why. Because before you and like some other folks, the only country I liked was Carrie Underwood.
Amazing.
Like Carrie Underwood was my girl. Like 16-year-old me, when she was on American Idol, I was just in love with her voice. I love what the fuck she did. Yeah. And then fast forward to, I was telling you my Loretta Lynn story. So I had no idea who Loretta Lynn was. I'm this local queen working in New York City. And then Carson Kressley reached out to me about doing this gig in Fire Island. They're like, hey, Monét X Change, I know you're a local queen in New York. We're looking for a Loretta Lynn impersonator. Without looking up, without looking up anything about Loretta Lynn, I was like, Carson Kressley, Drag Race? I was like, yes, I'll do it. Bitch, I go home. I'm like...
I actually think that's so cool, but that is so... bizarre.
So bizarre. So I was like, oh, Loretta Lynn. I was like, okay. So I show up in my Loretta Lynn drag.
Do you have a photo of this?
There's a photo. I
need to see this. That is so funny.
In my Loretta Lynn drag, girl, and I do this gig, and they paid me good money. It was on Fire Island to a bunch of homosexuals, and I got up and like, I had to find this picture. You're gonna gag, girl.
Do you like Fire Island?
I'll show you before we leave. Yeah. Because it's going to take forever. I have, how many pictures do you have on my phone? I have 32,000 pictures on my phone.
So I don't know how many,
right,
but
too much.
I have to like pinch it as, and
and that's so crazy how your brain is like, oh yeah, it's after the blah, 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 blah.
But I find them,
you
which
find
is
them
the crazy part. Yeah.
I am a Fire Island. Because I'm from New York, I feel like I have to say yes, but I recently went to Provincetown. P-Town is a little better.
I heard that. Well, I don't like Fire Island. Oh. Like
fighting words. Why?
Well, I've only had one experience there.
Okay.
And I got uncharacteristically got in sort of an altercation with somebody.
like a fist fight?
Close to, but it was like it was a crazy situation. But then I basically was like, okay, fuck this. And I left the situation. And then I didn't know how to get back to where we were staying because I was like, never been there. Everyone I was staying with was like staying at this party. And so I walked through the meat rack. If anyone knows what that is. The meat rack.
For all the straighties that may be listening and watching this, the meat rack is where the gay is going to have sex in the woods. Like again,
I also don't know anything about this, right? I'm like walking through there. I'm so angry and like frustrated with this situation I just left. And I'm like, what the fuck? What is that? Who's that? And I'm like, fuck. And I'm like walking.
Is it nighttime?
Yes. It's like the middle of the night.
Oh
it's like the middle of the night. I had to take a boat from wherever this party was too. It was like on this other part of the island.
Oh God.
Girl, it was hell. And I was like so frustrated walking through the meat rack. Finally found where I was staying. I was supposed to be there for like, I think a week. I literally packed my bags and sat up until 6 a.m. and took the first ferry out. I was like, fuck this. I went to New York. I was like, fuck this.
Was this before you were famous or after?
This is like a year ago.
Oh, bitch, a year ago? So you're like famous and people are, oh my God, Orville.
I know.
Oh, girl.
But I'm down to, I am down to experience a different, I've told this story to like a lot of Fire Island people that love it, and they're like, no, you just had like a crazy experience.
You had a crazy experience.
Which I did have a kind of a very particular experience, but it put a weird taste in my mouth.
Yeah, I mean, it would for me too.
Yeah, I was just like, what?
I'm just imagining just like someone being railed in the meat rack and they're like, oh my God, wait, is that Orville Peck like walking by? Like just gagging that Orville Peck is walking by.
I was really confused walking through that. I was like, there's people in the woods. Like...
Okay, so for a lot of us, like I was thinking about country music. Like country music is making this huge, and again, I think for people like me, obviously for you, it's always been a thing, but it seems like it's making this big resurgence into pop because of people like Beyonce and Cowboy Carter and you doing your music. Like, what are you happy that there's more access to country music, or you like it being this like more? It's not country music is probably the biggest thing out there.
I feel what you mean though. Like, do I like?
Because now I see more people on my timeline doing country. Like I'm finding out about more country shit.
Yes, I love that it is becoming more sort of widespread mainstream.
Yeah.
And I think especially in America, and I love seeing sort of what people suppose country fans are supposed to like look like, love like, act like, whatever. I love seeing the antithesis of that, enjoying country, because I talk about this like all the time, but you know, country music is like the most true American genre of music. Yeah. And it comes from so many different places. Like literally, it's like, you know, there's instruments from Africa, like the banjo is from an African instrument. It was brought over by slaves. Yeah. Like it was literally an African instrument. Like the pedal steel's from Hawaii. Like,
bitch, you want to teach me about blackness?
But seriously. And cowboy culture, like cowboy hats, everything, that's like Mexican culture, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, and it was country music was being formed at a time in this country not that long ago, P.S., when it was like all immigrants. Even the white people were immigrants to this country. And so I think like country music came out of this place of like everyone contributing to it. Yeah. So I feel like it's a really nice full circle that now everyone is enjoying it because everyone should enjoy it. Like Beyonce making a country album, that shouldn't be weird because it's no different than Carrie Underwood making a country album. If you really look at it on paper, it shouldn't be.
What do you think about her not getting any noms at the CMAs this year? Isn't that wild?
I'll just say I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Because I think, you know, being obviously like an out gay man in country music and, you know, I have a certain aesthetic and whatever, I have encountered over the years a lot of disappointing moments. We'll just say that, you know, and and it's been obvious to me, especially in retrospect, it's been obvious to me that it was sometimes because of something other than to do with my music. So I'm not surprised because country has a lot of gatekeepers and a lot of people who want to maintain its, I don't know, connection to politics and race. And like, it's so strange to me.
So when fucking Willie goddamn Nelson hits you up like, hey, yo, we want to make this song. And also just on Stampede, right? You have fucking Willie Nelson and Kylie Minogue, Diplo, Noah Cyrus. Are you like, all these fucking giants in music are on this album. Can you please tell me about the email from your agent or whoever when you hear is Willie Nelson and wants to make a song with you?
So it's even better than that. We were playing a festival together over 2 years ago now, maybe 3 years. And someone from my team was like, Willie Nelson wants you to go talk to him on his tour bus. What? And this is like
a mushroom cloud of weed smoke.
Right. And this is also right after. This is basically like freshly after COVID, so everyone's still distancing a bit, whatever. Like, so I like put a mask on, not just this mask, but like another mask. You know, because at that time he was already like 88 or 89.
Yeah, girl, she's like, a prime candidate for COVID.
Yeah.
Girl.
So, but then I go on this bus and I'm like completely don't know what to expect, and we just start hanging out. I mean, it's like Willie Nelson, which I'm like, you know, I'm not rendered speechless very often, but I really just didn't know what to say because I was it's just like a crazy, he's such an icon. It's crazy, girl. You know?
Yeah. And also staying power, like to be in the business and still touring and working for.
They can't get him to stop. It's crazy.
That's the crazy part.
He's 91 now and they literally are like, I feel like they're low-key saying like, you need to stop touring. And he's like, no, like, this is what I do.
Bitch, I have 20 more years and I'm done.
That's what I keep joking.
Girl,
I'm like,
at 55, I am done.
I'm
girl.
like, fuck, I'm so tired.
So tired. So you go on this tour bus and you talk to him and
we had like a cup of coffee and then it was like one of the first things he said. He goes, I heard that you do a cover of that Ned Sublet song, who is the guy who wrote Cowboys Are Frequently Secretly Fond of Each Other. Because I used to do it live in my show sometimes. Yeah. And I was like, oh, yeah, I do. And Willie had covered it in 2006. Willie did a version.
Oh, Willie did?
Yeah.
I didn't know that he covered it before the one with the artists together.
So he did it by himself in like 2000, I believe 2006. But it never really saw the light of day because nobody was trying to like promote a gay cowboy song by Willie Nelson.
So the original guy that wrote it, was he queer?
No. I'm the first gay person to sing it involved with it. Isn't that crazy?
Interesting.
I know.
Okay.
So it's like a different spin now that I do it. But so he's like, yeah, I heard you do that song. I said, yeah. And he goes, we should do a duet of it because it's more important now than ever. And I was like, that is so fucking cool.
Because this is this man he's born in what, 1691? I mean, he was born roughly around like the 1930s or something like that.
1930 something, probably.
That's crazy that he recognized the importance of that. I fucking love that.
They had just, I think they were about to, or had just, I can't remember. I think they were talking about overturning Roe v. Wade, and we started talking about that, and he was just like going off about the Supreme Court, like, fuck the Supreme Court. And I'm like, it's so cool because, Willie is from what are known as the outlaws of country, like the outlaw genre. And it's so cool to see that is really his belief system, and that is like where he stands with his morals, that he is that guy. He wants to fight for people's rights. Yeah. He believes everybody should have the equal rights. And it's like, he's 91 and he's fucking cool.
Badass, girl.
Yeah,
fucking
it's
badass.
So cool.
And again, all these fucking features, right? Okay, my two favorite, Midnight Ride, with because everything Kylie does. Yeah. I'm also a late Kylie bloomer. I fell in love with Kylie on the disco album. Like in Pandemic, disco album, like it was All Stars 4. They gave us to do that fucking Supernova song, me and Shay, and I was like, this song is cool. And Shay was like, bitch, when we get off this tour, recording Drag Race, go home, eat an edible, and listen to disco album, and I fell in love. So that's why I went back.
She is the coolest.
She is so good, and you have so all these artists, right? Like there must be something about you that people say yes, because I can't recall the last time I've seen an album with all these features and of notoriety, right? It's not just like squiggly bubble pants. Yeah. It's like all these like big artists. Are these all your friends? Like, well, how is the tea happening with that?
Yeah, it's like kind of insane. So Willie asked me that, and then, I'd always been thinking I wanted to do a duets album, but I thought I was going to do it way later. Yeah. But when Willie asked, I was like, maybe this is the time to see if anyone else is interested. So I I just started reaching out to people directly. I DM'd Kylie because we followed each other on Instagram, which was already like crazy, and we had chatted a little bit.
Slide it up in Kylie's hand, like, bitch, come do the song, girl.
Well, you have to you just got to shoot your shot. I was like, I literally prefaced it so much too. I'm like, please no, just feel free to say no. Yeah. I won't be offended, whatever. But I was like, would you like to do a country disco song with me and on this album? And she was like, yeah, 100%.
Work. Yo, shoot your shot. You send it.
No, you have to.
Just send it. You never fucking know.
You honestly have to. And it's crazy because then I think I knew everybody on the album in some capacity, except for maybe 3 people.
Okay, well, Ever You're Gone, because you know me, I had no idea who Teddy fucking Sims was. Yeah. And I was like, yo, I love that song. Yeah.
He's got a crazy voice.
The voice is beautiful. And just how y'all voices play together. And I feel like I'm hearing you in your little R&B era. That is, me and Andy are probably going to fuck to this song. We really are, just so you know.
I support it.
I will receive a load in me with listening to that song. I will. It's a great fucking song. I love it. Love it, love it, love it.
I love that. Yeah, I'm glad it's doing what it's supposed to do. It's like, yeah, it was. That one, Teddy, obviously, he's got that song that did super well called "Lose Control," and he's very well known for that incredible voice that he has. And so I was like, I wanted each song to be me meeting the other person halfway musically. So that's why the Kylie one is sort of a disco song. Yeah. That's why. The Teddy one is sort of, this R&B soul kind of song. And yeah, it's I had to kind of meet him there.
Work. So can you talk to me? I've been about this shortening mask. When I'm curious. What are you hinting at a reveal at some point?
We keep joking. It's gonna be like a Band-Aid, like
honestly, girl. What's the tea on the shortening mask? Because I also heard that you make these yourself.
Not anymore.
Okay,
but I design them now. I still design them. Yeah, but someone makes them. But I don't know. Every album I've changed them a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So it used to be like, I mean, I don't know if you remember, but it used to be like full, like you couldn't even see my ears. Like everything was like completely covered.
Yeah.
All you could see was my eyes, literally.
Yeah.
And then I started like showing my ears, which was a big moment for people.
We can see his love.
Yeah, they're like freaking out.
Well, you know, air porn is a real thing.
God, no.
I stumbled into air porn, and I am very sad that I went. I didn't. It's not a good place to be.
Ears.
I'm not an air person. I'm not an air person. I'm not a feet person. I don't want those extremities involved in sex. And when I stumbled into air porn, I was very.
I don't even want to know. I was gonna say what is ear porn, but I actually don't even want to know.
No, you don't want to know. It would have ruined the rest of your week.
But what were we talking about?
I don't know. Air porn. I don't know how we got an air porn.
Oh, my mask. So. Yeah, no, the ear. I showed my ears, and then I started like braiding my fringe and showing my chin a little bit, and my like mouth. And then, but it's never been a full thought out plan. Like I just sort of go with my gut about what I want it to be, and I knew that I was ready for like a new era because I also like I don't want to be repetitive as an artist. Like I just never want to be like that, you know, like I don't want to just, I know people really enjoy like periods of me and they want to hold on to that. I think I've noticed, but it's like, we're meant to grow and change, you know, as people absolutely. And as artists, especially, I like evolution. Like I don't want to repeat myself at all. Yeah. So yeah, like just like how I change up my sound every album and do like a little bit of like a different thing. I kind of do the same thing visually. Like I just want to give something fresh.
Well, your first album, I remember when we were, because the last was at you had the party at your house for that series and we're all there. And I think you remember, I feel like, and I saw your amazing studio at that place. And I think you were telling me that you had produced your first album by yourself.
Yeah.
Like you engineered it and shit yourself.
Someone engineered it, but I produced it and I played almost everything on the album. Yeah. Well, because it was out of necessity, because there was no one. Yeah. I think it cost me $300 to record that album.
$300?
Which I will say at the time might as well have been $3 million because I was broke as fuck.
Really?
So, yeah, of course. I was working like 3 day jobs.
Okay, to hear an album being done with $300, that's crazy.
Unheard of. Insane.
Bitch.
And it's still...
That's like the cost of a session.
No, it's crazy. It
Not
was
even like half a session.
I did it with my friend on an island off in the Pacific Northwest, and it was like...
Okay, of America?
Yeah.
Like an island off of Vancouver.
In the Gulf Islands off of Vancouver.
Oh, yeah. In the summer or the winter, because it's too cold to be doing that shit in the winter.
It was a I don't know if it was dead of winter, but it was definitely rainy. Because I mean, it's like Pacific Northwest.
$300.
Yeah.
Work.
I know, pretty wild.
Yeah, bitch. Okay. I mean, I've tried, like, because I see people like Ariana Grande and stuff, and I see them running their sessions, but like, I'm like, you know what? I can do that, bitch. I tried one time, and I look dope as hell. I was like, it's just, I don't have the creativity for it.
Like, I don't have the technicality for it, so an engineer cleans it up and does whatever. But I think doing stuff in that way can be interesting because I'll say this, like, I used to always do my own demos in my like home studio, and I would just like sit and like tinker on shit. And also that's the other thing is like, I'm not like a like some classically trained musician. Like I don't know shit about like,
well, you sound good.
Well, the technicality though, I'm like, I don't know.
Got it.
You know, like I don't know. I've taught myself how to play guitar. I taught myself how to play piano. I play them both totally wrong according to other people, you know, but it's like, I do my own thing. So I think I'm at my best, honestly, when I'm kind of like in a room at my house by myself, late at night.
With all like a whole
yeah, and just like messing around, because I think that's how I used to approach music when I was a kid and when I was a teenager. And when I first started playing in bands. And so it sounds corny, but like I really try to take it back there. And, I'm busy writing for my next album right now. And I was going in for writing sessions and going into these big studios because now obviously I have like budgets and all this shit. And then I was like, fuck, something is missing from these demos. And I was like, okay, I need to I moved to Venice. So like I moved my whole studio from my other place to Venice. Yeah. And I've just been like sitting in my room in Venice, like messing around and being creative. And it's where I'm at my best for sure, I think.
So are you finding inspiration for songs? Like, I saw this moment on the socials through the LGBT, through the Glad channels and stuff when you got the Vita Russo Award. And you finally did a boyfriend reveal. Everyone's been trying to see this man forever. You finally put him up on the big screen.
I know.
Like, talk to me about making the decision to do that, girl.
It wasn't, it's weird. It wasn't really a decision that I made. Like, okay, we're going to like launch that now or whatever.
Hard launch it.
Yeah. Like, okay, so, I had started to take him as my date to like more events.
Okay.
Like a week or two before that, we were guests of Elton John's for his Oscars party. So we got to sit with Elton and I took him there. And, we're like, I'm on the red carpet and he's like, doesn't want to do it, obviously. And
so he doesn't like that shit.
No, he hates it.
Got it.
He hates it.
Got it.
Which I love.
Yes.
Because I think that is like,
girl.
Because actually, to be honest, like deep down inside, I also kind of hate it. So it's like I love that. Like I like keeping my private life private.
Yes.
And it's not for any other reason than that. And so then we did Glad, and like I took him on the red carpet for that one. I was like, oh no, let's do it. It'll be cute. Like we'll take like one picture together, And so we like do like one picture, and I wasn't even thinking, like I wasn't even considering it or thinking about it. And then obviously like I do a speech and I'm like gonna thank the people in my life that are important to me. Yes. So like I thanked him, and I didn't even think again that like they would like throw the camera on him. And he's like and so, he doesn't love it, but he is the most supportive and loving person in my life. And I like sneaking him into the spotlight just because I think it's funny for me.
How did y'all meet? I'm very curious.
We met through a mutual friend.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And y'all been together for how long?
We've been together for like 3 years, over 3 years.
3 years. Very cute.
Yeah.
I mean, so now that he's like thrust into the spotlight, is he like, because let me say something. But a lot of celebrities, what y'all be doing, like, like for example, Issa Rae got married. No one knows she even had a boyfriend. And she was like, oh, by the way, I just got married. Quinta Brunson was like, she like when she finally got, I think the Oscar, whatever it is, she did the red carpet with her husband or boyfriend, and she was like, everyone was like, what? You're dating someone? And they've been together for like 10 years. Like people, a lot of celebrities. Jackie Aina, who's a big TikToker, a big fucking huge star, she just changed her last name to her fiance's, and like it just became a whole thing online. And celebrities are like, bitch, we don't want you in my business. I don't want y'all in my business because y'all ruin relationships.
100%. And like, I don't, he has no interest in it. I have no investment in trying to make him a part of it. Like, it's funny. Like he's so cute about it. Like I'll be like, do you want to come to this thing? And he's like, I don't know, that's your work. And like, he's not like, which I love, because it'd be annoying if he was like clamoring for attention. Like I would fucking hate that.
Like, immediate chop.
Yeah, so it works out very well.
Did y'all go to Burning Man together? Which I'm very jealous you went to Burning Man.
We did.
Okay.
Oh my God. I
want to burn so bad.
You have to. It was my first time. It was his 10th time.
Oh, so he's an experienced burner.
Yeah. So I'm glad I went with someone who has done it a lot. Yeah. That was important, I think. But also it could be whatever, I think. You don't have to do that. But yeah, I was really against it for a long time. I just thought it looked corny and unpleasant, and I'm not like a huge EDM fan, and I don't like being dirty and dust. Like there were so many factors where I was like, this is a hell for me. Like, and then through the years, I've known so many people that I'm very close with who have done it, and hearing people describe their experience, especially their first experience of it. Yeah. I was like starting to get really intrigued by it because I was like, okay, this is crazy. Like everyone seems to have this like huge, impactful experience when they go. God, I have to go. Then I started dating my boyfriend, who's been so many times, and I was like, okay, I gotta go try this. You know what I mean?
People who love Burning Man, they want Burning Man more than they want their next breath.
Oh,
they're
listen,
obsessed with the burn.
I'm not joking when I tell you, I have had dreams. When was it? I got back like 2 weeks ago. Yeah. I've had like 5 or 6 dreams that I'm at Burning Man, just having a good time. Like I cannot stop thinking about it. I went through like every possible emotion to the fullest extent, like joy, sadness, like grief stuff. Like it is crazy. And I think you can just go with whatever intention you go with, you're gonna get that out of it. So if you want to go and just like party and whatever, people do that, right? Yeah. There's people that totally do that. I went with like other intentions, you know, mostly, and like I wanted to have sort of a new experience, and it's exactly what happened. Like I'm hooked. Like I want to go every year.
Well, I mean, you publicly took that big break, right? Yep. And, you know, the streets were talking about like why Orville did this, why Orville did that, you know? And so like, can you talk about making it? Because I mean, you had an album coming, like there was a lot of shit going on. So when you just kind of, your tour, when you kind of stopped, people were like, oh my God, like what the fuck is this? Like why, what happened there?
Yeah, I was sort of like I think of it like an airplane, like a jet flying through the air, and then you're like realize you have no fuel left in the tank, and you're just like, I was,
because you're going
at the peak of sort of my success of that time. You know, I literally was about to leave. I played Madison Square Garden, and I was about to leave on like this huge tour that was basically like a year-long tour. And you know, like I was so overworked, depressed, unhappy, unhealthy. I literally had like basically like a nervous breakdown, you know? Yeah. And I was like, I can't. I mean, you know, even my team told me, they were like, you can't go on tour like this. Like, I don't know. It was really bad. It was really, really bad. But then I went and took a break, which, you know, I've been touring for either 18 or 19 years now, which is crazy because I'm not that old. But I've been doing it since I was really young. Yeah. So like, and that was the first time in 18 years of touring, other than the pandemic, that I've canceled a show ever. Wow. Ever. And I canceled the whole tour. It was so hard for me to do. Yeah. It was so hard to bring myself to the idea that I could go take time off. And, you know, I did. And the first thing I was confronted with was like, you know, who am I if I'm not a performer? Like, who am I if I'm not on tour? What is my identity other than my work? And I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, I don't know. Yeah. And so I went and spent a year basically dedicated to finding out that, like, you know, who I am outside of all of this.
All of that shit. Yeah. And I mean, but when you are such a big artist, like the ramifications from any of that, because you have like management, you have like venues.
Oh my God, my stuff, band, everyone who works for me, like, yeah,
is like on your head, which I can imagine the weight of that. That shit is.
It was such a hard decision, and I have like a kind of almost, I don't know, compulsive sociopathic work ethic. Like I'm such a dedicated hard worker, to a fault, because that's part of what drove me crazy. Yeah. But like, it was really hard for me to make the decision. It was crazy. But I mean, it's the best decision I ever made for myself, ever.
Yeah. Well, my question is again, you've been doing this for so fucking long. When you are on the road for so long, because I come from the world of classical music and opera, right? Like, we don't sing that often. Like, you think about it, you think of production of, I don't know, the Magic Flute at the Met. They're rehearsing for like 3 months.
Yeah.
And you only do about 9 performances of it.
Yeah.
Whereas an artist like you on tour, you're performing sometimes, 5 shows a week for like hours and hours and hours. How does your voice not get tired? I have not figured out.
It gets tired, but I have figured out, that's the other nice thing about touring so long and being in a kind of a position where I'm able to do this, but like I have crafted how I want to tour down to like an art now, because I've learned, I used to do, when I was first starting touring, when I was like, a teenager, I was touring like 200 days out of the year. Like I had no home for the first, like, for pretty much, I had no home from pretty much when I was like 18 or 19 until, when did I buy my house? Like 3 years ago.
What?
Like, my shit was in storage always.
Oh, that would drive me crazy. It was crazy. It would kill me.
It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. And it was all I knew and all I wanted to do until I realized that it's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
So now I tour like, I do like 2 or 3 weeks on, 2 or 3 weeks off.
Got it.
Because I know I need to go home.
Yeah.
Reset.
Yeah.
Hang with my dog, hang with my boyfriend, see my family. Like, I need that stuff. And I just didn't know I needed that for such a long time. And then show wise, I think the most I do is 4 in a row. I prefer 3 in a row because my voice totally gets tired.
Right.
But I have to take crazy care of it on tour.
That's because the mic is on.
I do a lot of stuff.
No shade. A lot of these artists out here, y'all. They be out here lip syncing.
Oh, like some nights I'm stressing. Like, I'll be like about to go on and I'm like trying to hit notes and then magic, somehow it happens. Like, the adrenaline kicks in and it works. But there's times where I'm like, I don't know how to do it. Like,
right. But you're right though. Like, you be so dark, like, oh, tonight is not the night. But then the adrenaline and everything, and it does work, and you're like, well, thank fucking God that worked out for me tonight.
It's crazy. I mean, what's crazy too, actually, on the topic of what you just asked me before, is like, it's funny, like, also having toured so long and now figure out how to do it, but having taken that break for myself and to just be on that path of like self-discovery, I am enjoying tour the most that I've ever enjoyed it, which is crazy because usually that declines. As you do it more, you're like annoyed and over
Willie Nelson, who's apparently going to do it until he's 179. Girl.
I mean, he has the secret, but like I'm so much more present and like I think I just have a lot more gratitude in my life in general. And so like, it's been some of the best shows I've ever played in my life. Word. It's been really, really cool recently.
And does your man come on the road with you?
No, sometimes he'll come to like little jaunts, but he hasn't been on the bus in a couple of years. But
I love sleeping on a tour bus.
Me too. I could fall asleep on like the engine of a truck. Like, I'm like, I don't know why. I'm like, I think I have like a little narcolepsy or something.
Yeah,
like,
no, tour bus sleep. I love tour, and I've done both. I've slept in the bunks and I've had my own thing in the back. Yeah, I love a tour bus sleep.
I love it too.
Like, when you're in that little cocoon, you like the bus is rocking.
It's so cozy.
It's so cozy.
I love it.
Fucking love tour bus sleep.
I love it too.
Is there someone on this next project you're working on that you can give us a hint? Or I guess you're still writing, so you don't know who you're going to have on the next project yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to have anybody. Only because, I just finished an album that has 18 people on it other than me. Yeah. There's a lot, and I sort of think of Stampede a little bit like not in the kind of canon of my albums. It's sort of its own thing because of what it is. Yeah. So I feel like I'm going back to like my own thing.
Got it.
A little bit.
Work.
Yeah. But who knows? You never know.
Well,
you never
if you have a thing for a big fat black drag queen. Who's bald?
Oh my God, I've done my opera moment. Yeah.
Like, there's no classical on Stampede, Orville Peck.
I
And
know, that is glaring. That is glaring. That is glaring. I'm so sorry about that.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, the deluxe edition.
Deluxe edition.
We'll do it.
Yeah. I'll do some Beyonce Caught Me a Bit on there, girl.
I love it.
And one thing I always had a thing, because, okay, so annually, Kimchi, Naomi and I and a bunch of friends, we get together and like we always talk about, yo, we need to like a festival. So when I see Rodeo Festival, can you tell me about how she was born? Because like doing a festival sounds like insane, and you're having a full country festival.
Yeah, it's definitely grown over the years. We just did our 6th one, which is crazy. We do once a year. The first one was in LA. I did 2 nights of the Troubadour way back in the day.
Right.
And basically that was birthed out of that I wanted to do a show once a year that felt like sort of a variety show or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was still my show and my songs, but I wanted to have drag queens from the very beginning. The first one was Meatball and Pinche did it.
Oh my God.
And they were the first drag queens to perform at the Troubadour.
Word.
It was really sick.
Word.
Yeah.
Fucking Meatball.
I know, it's crazy. And so that was the first one. So I've always had drag queens at everyone. You know, and I've had, it's just grown. Like, you know, we did the Troubadour, then we did, God, I can't even remember, but we eventually went to like Red Rocks, which is crazy in Denver. I had John Waters host that one as well. And then
I love your this campness that you bring to the Cowboy of it all.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, I mean, it's part of the kind of country that I really like. You know, I think Dolly Parton is really camp.
Yeah.
You know, Johnny Cash was even sort of camp, you know, like it's leaning into the storytelling. And that is what's so beautiful about country music is you can do that. You can dress and live the fantasy of whatever you want and make music that's like super personal and authentic, and those two things are not at odds with each other. And in country, they actually encourage one another in country, and the storytelling gets like richer. Which
is the gag to me when you like what we talk about at the top of this conversation about these like old guards of country. I'm like, bitch, country in terms of the fashion is so fucking queer and is so gay. Like the bangles, the beads, the fringe,
girl, the nudie suits, everything. Like it's crazy.
So I'm like, y'all have all this, but y'all have the nerve to be anti-gay, anti-queer. Like, that's so bizarre to me.
But I mean, it's just, it's very bizarre.
And like you making the choice to be this openly gay country artist, like, I mean, at some point, weren't you like fearful that shit was gonna hold you back? Like, but again, you cannot live in fear, and you just got to do you. You got to do your shit.
Like I keep joking, you know, it's like a funny joke because I get asked this sometimes, and I'm like, the honest answer is I didn't, and maybe that's, I don't know what that is. No, because you know what, since I was a little kid, the one thing about me is if I want to do something, like nothing will stop me.
Yeah.
And if someone tries to stop me, that makes me want to do it more. Yeah. And if someone tells me I can't do something, that makes me want to go do it. And I want to do it better than everyone else. And like, you know, like I just have that sort of spirit in me. And so, you know, I had just, when I first made Pony and I did all this, like, I wasn't like sitting down and thinking like, okay, like, what is the, you know, what is going to be the reaction from like Nashville? Like, I wasn't thinking like that. I was just like, I want to do something creative and true to me as an artist in the genre of country. And I want to do it a really particular way. And I'm just going to go do it. And I don't know if no one likes it and no one ever hears it, like fine. But like, that's what I set out to do.
And also I think a lot of that unapologeticness is why so much of the queer community is embracing you back so much, because you are being so fucking gay in this shit. And that's why, I mean, you've been on Drag Race what, twice
more
now?
Than you?
You literally, honestly though, I mean, you judged twice.
I've judged once on the American one.
Oh, because you were on Pit Stop as well.
I was on Pit Stop. I was, someone impersonated me on Australia Snatch Game.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Okay, was it bad?
I feel bad because I've since spoken to the person and they've clarified that it was like different in person.
Okay. As someone who has been did 3 Snatch Games on the show, I mean, there are some nuances, but maybe if it was bad, it was bad.
I mean, I don't want to say anything other than it was very cool to be a snatch game.
She gave her passionate answer, y'all.
A snatch game, but it's cool to be a snatch game
it is.
character or
like
whatever.
People choosing to
yeah, that's so cool.
It is.
Yeah, but I'm always like, but you know, like I'm friends with drag queens.
Yeah,
I've always been friends with drag queens. You know, like when I first started going to gay bars, which was late in life for me because I was always openly gay, but I grew up in like punk bands and stuff. So like I was just like around straight people all the time.
Yeah.
And when I would go out, I wasn't going to a gay bar. I was going to like the dive bar to watch like a punk band. And it's just what I did.
Yeah.
So I started going to gay bars when I was like in my mid-20s. And immediately, of course, like the first people that I really found myself drawn to, you know, in humor, in artistry, in creative was the drag queens, you know? And so like, I've been friends with drag queens like most of my life, you know?
Got it. Have you ever been with a woman?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful. That is. I'm a platinum gay. I was even born by C-section.
Oh my God.
I know.
Oh my God.
I know. I'm not proud of it. I would like. I'm really not proud. I would.
You can do it.
But
Andy will let you.
Andy will let me. But I'm just so nervous that I won't be good at the equipment.
Yeah.
And that's what gives me pause. I'm like, I don't want to ruin this person's experience.
You know, well, maybe Andy won't like this as much, but I was gonna say an in could be like find like a girl and with a hot boyfriend, and then you can like have a little situation. That could be your intro.
Oh my God, I'm making like a threesome. You jumping past threesome into a quad? Jesus, Orville. My mom is going to watch this show.
Oh, mine too, I'm realizing.
Is your dad still an engineer?
No, well, he's sort of retired now, but yeah.
Oh my God, I'm sure your parents and your family just like they're obsessed with like all of it.
Yeah, you know, I think it's really nice because, you know, my parents both come from poor families. Like, you know, they both come from very working class beginnings in South Africa, and they were both self-employed even in South Africa. You know, they always were. My dad was always trying to run his own studio and all that stuff. And it was like, you know, they got pretty successful at one point. And then, you know, he got a job offer in Canada, and they were like, well, that's just like such a huge opportunity to like, you know, leave South Africa and have our kids like have these other places to kind of experience. So we left, even though, you know, we all love South Africa so much. But my parents gave up on that decision. My parents gave up everything.
Wow.
Like, you know, we arrived in Canada with pretty much no money. We had.
Why would you go to fucking cold ass Canada?
No, from Africa,
from
dude.
Africa.
It was crazy. It was crazy.
You know, and that's crazy. I think this was a long time ago. Like, I think around like when your oh my God, what was the Girl Got remix album called? Chromatica 2. Donna Chromatica.
Yeah.
And saying like you were like from like you were Nepo baby and stuff like that, and how like you came out. I'm like, no, that's literally the exact opposite story.
I wish I was a Nepo baby.
People will make shit up on the internet. They're like, he shouldn't have got this feature because he's like a Nepo baby. His mom, blah 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 blah. I remember reading this.
The amount of just blatantly wrong information that people are saying with their whole chest on the internet
crazy
is wild. I mean, I learn something new about myself every day where I'm like, oh, really? I didn't know that.
It'd be crazy in the streets,
like,
girl.
It's crazy.
Literally the exact opposite experience of what your life was. That's insane.
Yeah. So but no, my parents. So now, you know, like I get to give that back.
Yeah.
And to them, and that is like, you know, it's the happiest achievement of my life.
Oh, but taking care of my family, I love taking care of my family.
Me too.
I love surprising my mom with shit and doing shit for my family.
It's so nice, you know, like
because when you're given this, you know, and we get to do whatever, like it's like to me the joy of giving and seeing people being like excited or whatever about a thing. I that kind of like working out, that chemical feeling it gives me, which I guess maybe a little selfish actually because it's actually
no, it's your love language.
Yeah, it's my love language.
I'm a gifter, 100%.
I love
like I love to gift and I love to do like acts of service.
Yeah,
like, that's what makes me happy.
I don't know damn service, girl.
You're like, no acts of service.
We'll see. With the giving, yes.
Yeah.
Wait, what's your okay? So giving, acts of service. What's your third one?
Probably words of affirmation.
Words of affirmation.
Because I'm a more anxious type in relationships. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I need a lot of reinforcement.
Yeah, mine are giving. My second one is my last one. My out of the 5, my fourth one, like down, is physical touch.
Yeah, it's I'm very like tactile and I'm very like PDA. Like I'm all over my boyfriend.
All PDA.
But it's not really part of, I mean, it's a little bit part of my love language, but it's not that important.
Yeah. I'm a cat person. Like in the world.
Are you talking about like cat and dog people?
Yes,
someone just explained this to me. Do you know how you can be like cat, dog, cat, dog, cat, dog,
no,
cat?
What the fuck? Now there's levels to it.
Yeah, girl.
No, girl, I'm just a cat person. Like I'm all about like I'm like I want you around, but leave me alone. Like I like us being in the same space. But me being in my space and you being in your space.
I am like, so this is what the like someone explained this to me. This is what the sort of dog cat combo thing, whatever. Like I'm like dog cat. Okay. Because I'm like, I dog, like I want, and then I'm like still dog, and then eventually I'm like, but I also want like a little bit of space. So some people could be like cat, and just be like,
Andy is dog to dog.
Andy's a dog.
Girl, he's a dog, girl. He's a dog. Andy is
I love Andy.
He's a very sweet guy. Orville, this was such a great conversation. Thank you so much for swinging by my basement.
It's so cute. I love what you've done with it.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. We just got this wood installed this week, actually.
It's beautiful. I love it.
I sanded it myself.
I'm sure you did.
And I buffed it with my booty. Y'all, if you have not listened to fucking Stampede, it is such good work, and there are so many dope ass features. Some of your faves are on there. Even, I recently got into Diplo maybe over the past 2 years. I'm obsessed. So Diplo's on there. Kylie, Teddy, girl, listen to Ever You're Gone. It will.
Oh, I love that you love that one.
It's some baby making music for sure.
Yeah.
Or I love you so much.
I love you so much. Thank you for having me.
Mwah. And thank you for watching this episode of Monét Talks. Until next time, peace.
Monét Talks.